Top Smell Show is hot.
Hartman, String.
Right. We're going to do a little Pyromania album by Def Leppard. We haven't done any of these in a while, and this is really what we really enjoy doing these on the string.
Yeah, we talk at work all the time, and every time we run into somebody we know, it always ends up being music related. So, I mean, it's like kind of shit we talk about all the time anyway, so. And
we actually did a community tab. We did, what was it, Badlands self-titled?
Yeah, we had Badlands self-titled, Tour's first one, Out
of the Cellar.
And Out of the Cellar, and Pyromania.
And this one won by a landslide.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah. And it made me proud that Badlands was actually the runner-up. That people understand that is a really good album. So.
And people voted. That was cool.
We actually had a pretty good amount of people that voted.
I don't remember.
It was a decent amount. It wasn't a huge number, but it was kind of what I really more than I expected.
I'm actually going to put it up here. I decided.
All right.
During the video, it'll show.
Oh, sweet.
They show the bars.
All fancy like.
Yeah, we're going to try to be a little fancy. Still redneck fancy.
It's all right.
We like redneck.
Redneck beautiful, baby.
Before I read anything about Pyromania, about the goods on the album, this man down here, Spike, known Spike a long time, been a Def Leppard fan a long time.
Long time.
Pyromania, what's your take on Pyromania? What's Pyromania remind you of every time you listen to it?
The 80s. And Pyromania is just it's what started it for me as far as liking Def Leppard. When it first come out, it got me into the band. It got me into learning more about or listening more to the band. And if it wouldn't been for Pyromania, I would have never listened to High and Dry. I never listened to On Through the Night, which High and Dry in my mind is probably one of their best albums, but never got the playtime, the airtime, or of course it was before MTV, so it didn't get a lot of airplay.
Yeah.
What about you, String?
Kind of with me, that was the first album that I'd heard of them, and I think I want to say my mom got like the Columbia House or like one of them things. You know what I'm talking about? 12 albums for a penny.
That's right. Show the age.
Yep.
You paid on the damn things for 6 years.
Yeah, well, that's all right. It was worth it. It's
or
all
you
for the
didn't pay
music.
it all.
Yeah,
that's right.
But I'm pretty sure that's how we got a hold of the first one, and I mean, it hooks. I mean, it lures you in. I mean, we were talking. I mean, there's not a bad song on this album. No. I mean, it's kind of like Appetite. I mean, it's a solid album. And I mean, I don't remember what year it was that I initially heard it. I mean, it was probably maybe a year after or 2 years after. It probably shouldn't have been much more longer after that if it was longer than that. But I remember hearing it. I want to say we had the album. I don't know what ever happened to that album, but it might have been cassette. I can't remember for sure, but I just remember hearing it and falling in love with it. I mean,
a photograph in the background makes me think of MTV wearing that video plum out.
Yes.
MTV. That's when they were still playing videos.
Right. Yeah. Before
it was getting ready to really take off. MTV was really.
Oh yeah.
Def Leppard was a big part of the early MTV. What about you, Randy?
I bought the record. It's a Town and Campus Records.
Lovely place.
Yes, I bought the record. Travis Rogers recommended me to get this band. That was the first record of them I bought. I wore it out so much that the record had the pop. So I went out and got the cassette and wore that out so much that the paint peeled off the tapes. That's what they did back then.
Yep, they rubbed off.
It's one of my top 10 favorite albums of all time. Definitely my favorite album by the band. And listen to it today, it just makes me think of happier times. It was a great album, and definitely, a big part of my youth growing up was this album and this band, especially this record. It's not a bad track on it. There is no such thing. It's great. And I love their costumes for this one, too, when they all wore the British flags. I thought that was really cool. I liked that a lot.
Me with Pyromania, it come out in that era where with Metal Health, Shout to Devil, As Seller, there was such great music coming out.
Good music.
But I'm guessing middle school was probably the first time I heard them, but didn't really dig into them deep till maybe the 8th or the 9th grade when I really started appreciating them. But I'm like them guys, I remember MTV kind of taking them in under their arm, under their wing, and just
See,
kind
that
of
was the thing with me. I didn't have MTV. We had cable, but we didn't have a whole lot of channels. MTV wasn't part of it. So for me, I had night tracks, and if it wasn't on night tracks, I didn't know about it, and I really
Forgot all about that shit.
Yeah.
Friday night videos too.
Yeah, Friday night videos.
NBC.
I didn't have a whole lot of exposure to a lot of bands, and I didn't really have that many kids lived around me that could help influence me to hear, oh man, you got to check this band out like you guys did. So for me, I really was a late bloomer to a lot of the music. I mean, even when I got hooked up with you many years ago, you got me on
we about broke you.
I know.
To buy all that stuff. We tell you about this. Tell you about
and
that,
how many places do we go? And I was buying CDs here and there and everywhere we go, and so for me, I was very limited on what I had to listen to, and just lucky that I guess my mom decided, she'd heard enough of it and that enjoyed it to like it to buy it. So, that was kind of how.
I mean, I wasn't in on the early MTV days, but from what I hear other people say, and I don't know Spike or Randy, I know they were pretty early in MTV. Do y'all remember when Def Leppard was on like one time every hour on the hour?
We didn't have it here. They only had 2 through 13. MTV didn't come around here until 89.
All right.
So I wish that was around when that was around. It didn't come to 89. I remember that.
I remember when I lived in Elkton, we had MTV there, but that was many years later. And I remember, watching Headbangers Ball and stuff like that was on, and if it was
MTV
on there,
was still good.
Yeah, when it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was music television.
Yeah, when it was actually music on music television. But, and then that was years later. But I remember seeing Def Leppard on there then. But, that was well into their ballady, change of sound anyway.
I guess we'll go a couple things that should come out. It was released January 20th, 1983. It was released on Vertigo in UK and Europe, and it was released on Mercury in US. Phil Collins replaced Pete Willis, which, can you believe Pete Willis had a drinking problem? It must have been.
I can't believe anybody in that band ever had a drinking problem.
I was telling String today, it must have been bad because Steve Clark, they fired Pete Willis, but they kept Steve Clark. And we all know, the ultimatum.
Steve Clark was badass, so there's the difference. I mean,
well, and that's what we talked about. Steve Clark, I believe, was a riff writer, a major riff writer.
Yeah.
I believe he did a lot of. But I thought this was the first Mutt Lange album produced, but it wasn't. High and Dry, his first album. Everybody knows Mutt Lange is. He's got 3 albums that, between Pyromania, Hysteria by Def Leppard, and Back in Black, I mean, that's 3 great albums to have here. To be tied to you, that's incredible. I guess it was kind of more of a radio-friendly commercial album. It charted number 2 on Billboard in 2000, and I think the only reason it didn't chart number 1 is because of Thriller. Thriller was the reason that Pyromania didn't go number 1. That tells you how big Michael Jackson was. But to this day, I think it's a better album.
Certified diamond too.
Yeah. It was
10 million copies. That's a lot.
it's a very lot.
But it was, I guess what we're going to do is, me and String was talking, we're going to pick, and this was really hard to do, pick 2 of our favorite tracks off this album. And it's like String said, to pick 2 I mean, you're leaving a lot that should be on here also. But we'll go through and
What did Mandy say? It was like picking your favorite child.
yeah.
It's impossible.
So and we also did a list on what the I guess the community channel.
Community
And
tab there underneath the
We did a
YouTube.
list on my Facebook page, which you can find on the Hops Metal Show.
HopsMetalShow.com.
And we take requests on there also. But my first pick, none other than Photograph. I mean, that's where I'm going with.
It's a picture
That's my
of.
first pick. It was a great song, great video. Like Randy said, it really set the time. And they really took that music and really helped it out. They helped our style of music get to where it got. So that's why I went with Photograph. Catchy riff, great opening song. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Photograph.
I got Rock of Ages. I wore that song out to death back in the day. That's an anthem. Plus, I like the video with the swords and the druids or whatever they were supposed to be. So I like that. That's my first pick. Rock of Ages.
Yeah, I'm gonna have. I don't know which way to go. I don't really. I like them both equally the same. Well, and I mean all of them are really awesome songs, but I'm kind of in between two. So I'm gonna just say Photograph because that's the first. That's track is earlier on the album, but I mean we heard it so many times, and it was like, you know, an anthem in a way. I mean, it was just. I mean, you just heard it so much and just instilled in your brain, but it wasn't like. Back then, it didn't get overplayed as much as stuff does nowadays. So even though it was played a lot, it wasn't like just drilled into you like a lot of the stuff is today. That's just over and over and over and over every 5 minutes on the radio. But yeah, I mean it's a great song. I mean it's catchy and it's one of them you just sing along to, and just everybody's gonna know the words, and it's just, it's just
and everybody loves it. It's kind of like,
yeah.
you know, I don't know anybody that when we done the thing, everybody just responded, and it was like you kind of had the same songs, but then people would be mentioning different stuff. But you never heard, God, that album sucks.
Yeah.
Nobody says that.
Well, and I think we had said like early yesterday before we really started reading some of the results. I think that like what we thought the top songs were going to be, and this was definitely one of them. And there was a couple that got listed after we looked at what was being thrown up there. There was a couple that were not the normal that you thought you would hear, but still cool songs that it was like, well, that's cool, you know, and you know what, it's what you like is what you like. So, you know, we're not going to down anybody for liking something we don't think would be the best, but you know, that's what makes it.
Probably good things. I think I'm getting ready to go outside the normal.
That's what, well,
That's
that's
what we
good.
want.
That's kind of
Deep
good.
tracks.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
After seeing them open,
All right, before you say,
I'm sorry.
No. I'm just
Okay.
going to take a guess of what you're going to say, and just see if I'm right or wrong. I'm going with this song right here.
you're absolutely right.
Yes.
You're absolutely
I didn't
right.
want to ruin it for you.
No,
but there you
yeah.
go.
I mean, after seeing them multiple times, but getting to see them open with stage fright. I mean, you know, hell, welcome to my show. You know,
That's a good opener.
you and me, babe, we got the whole damn night to go. So I mean, that's probably. I mean, like I say, the whole album is fantastic, but I have drawn myself to liking the stage frights and certain other songs on that album more so, or I find myself listening to those songs more so than, you know, your Photographs, Too Late for Love, you know, just, yeah.
Because those got played more. And
they got played more, but these other songs just, they got a lot to them that never
They
got.
kind of get buried.
They did get buried. I mean, there's no
Oh, I
doubt
agree.
about it. I mean, you know, so I'm gonna go Stage Fright.
Cool.
Good point.
I'm glad he's digging deep.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get back to this thing we usually call the list. If you're new to this, we post. I said earlier, we post on Facebook, and we post on community channel, which we just got 1K. Thank
Yep.
y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
We did the requests on what our audience thought was their favorite songs. I didn't unload this on string earlier, but I'm gonna unload on him now. I'm gonna let him take care of the Facebook side,
So I better look that up real quick.
and I'm gonna take care of the community tab. And we had a couple come in. We had a C.R. Campbell, Billy's Got a Gun, or Stage Fright. Billy's Got a Gun. There's another deep track. We had John Flamingo, Rock of Ages, Foolin'. He thanked us for doing this. And then we had a Paco Acosta. Didn't even think about, I might need a butcher knife. Hopefully I ain't butchering that name.
Oh, it's here somewhere. I don't know where it
See,
went.
yeah,
Oh,
I
it's
did
right there
give
in
you
front of
that because you know all the people you guys hopefully. And he went with Paco, picked Photograph and Stage Fright. Another one for Stage Fright. And then we have a Page Monster that picked Photograph. All good stuff. But it's like you said, I mean, it's album. It's hard to go wrong. It is kind of like Appetite. There's just not a bad song on here.
All right, so my turn.
Yep.
Our good old friend Jared Bowman, he said Stage Fright was his. Y'all agree? Connie Crowder Harris, she says Foolin'. David Brannon says he was kind of a toss-up between Rock Till You Drop or Coming Under Fire. He said such a great album, one of the first hard rock albums I ever bought.
I think that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then Cuz, what you said
Where's
earlier,
she's put?
Amanda Riggleman says it's like choosing a favorite child, so impossible. So I'll just pick Too Late for Love. Robert Ford says another one for Foolin'. And Jerry Lambert, Coming Under Fire. And hey, that's you.
That's me.
And you already told us so.
Yeah, so the second one will be a surprise.
Yeah.
And I guess, really, I don't know. I mean, the title tracks, the order they're in: Rock Till You Drop, Photograph, Stage Fright, Too Late for Love, Die Hard, The Hunter. This must be album because it's got side 1, side 2. And then,
Cassette.
No, cassette.
yeah, well, that's
Well,
true.
could be
or
that too,
cassette.
yeah.
Cassette.
And Foolin', Rock of Ages, Coming Under Fire, Action Not Words, and Billy's Got a Gun. And if you look at, I guess I probably should have read this off as I was reading each song, but I was looking at the writer's credit, and you actually have. Did you know Mutt Lang wrote a lot of stuff on here, or helped write a lot of stuff? Well, he's
I
got
see it
writer's
now.
credits. Pretty much. Well, I guess
Damn near every song.
until you get down here towards the end.
No, it's
No,
he's
he's in
Lang,
it.
Lang,
I would say he's in
Lang.
every
He's in
one.
every one
Oh
of
yeah,
them.
except for yeah, he is in everyone.
Yeah, he's every song.
Pardon me. But Pete Willis, I did notice that Pete Willis got writer's credit on him.
I think it said that he was
songs.
still with them at the. I think
At
when
the
I
very
was reading,
beginning.
he was actually in the recording, or they started recording it with him,
And Phil Collins.
and then Phil Collins after
Come
they
in to
fired him,
tour.
and yeah, he came in and actually played on the album. But I think it said that they had a lot of the rhythm stuff they kept of him, but some of the lead stuff Phil Collins just redid. I think is what I read.
And I don't know if they go by the first name mentioned, if that's who did a major part of the writings. But look at the
Yeah, they're all in
photograph.
different
The
orders.
3 hits, man. Steve Clark's first name mentioned. Another thing, I don't know if y'all ever noticed this on string. I listened to this the other day just to get it out to fresh my mind. Dude, their harmonies. Man, Def Leppard's harmonies are unfreaking believable. It's unreal how good their backups are. And that's stuff that nobody even talks about. I mean, I was telling him, and I know Spike listens to a lot of Eagles also. I would say they're the hard rock version of the Eagles. With the harmony, because I've always said I think Rick Savage's voice is just as good as
I
Joe
think
Elliott's.
that's why you see a lot of bands or a lot of cover bands never doing or trying to
How
do
could they?
a lot of their
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean,
They
those-
just can't. They don't have that. I mean,
I mean, when you got a couple singers in the band, that's pretty impressive. So I guess Spike, you will just start that in. You pick
you want to
your
start with me
second.
on the way back for number
Yeah,
2?
Let's go to number 2.
Billy's Got a Gun.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I just love the beat. I love the whole just rhythm of the song. You know, I don't know. That was just always been one of my. I mean, like I say, the whole album is awesome, but I love that song.
To me, well, all right, I'll ask you two questions, or I'll ask one question mainly. What's the deal with the very end of that song? Why does it sound like it doesn't belong, but it's still part of that song?
Is
I
that
didn't know if you knew
experimenting
anything.
with electric drums, you reckon?
I don't know.
See, we had a conversation about this today. I said a lot of the toms don't sound electronic as much, because I know after he lost his arm, he went to mostly
Right.
electronics.
Right.
But all of the cymbal parts in that album sounds almost electronic. So I wasn't for sure if maybe the toms, just because that has a deeper sound, but the cymbals definitely sounded, you know,
Synthesized.
synthesized, yeah, something. But I wasn't for sure if maybe, because he had said that most of the videos, which I remember correctly too, I thought that he had regular drum kits on all the videos. But we were talking maybe
until he lost his arm.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he did too.
well, and what we're thinking is maybe he used electronic drums in the studio to maybe get that sound,
Good
and
possibility.
then
I
when
never
they
thought about
played
that.
out that he
I
just
never
used
thought about
regular
that.
kit. But that's actually probably my least favorite of all the songs on there.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's what
But
this
if
is
anybody, I
all
guess,
about. We
if
don't down
anybody out
anybody.
there knows that,
Yes,
just
please.
Yeah,
let
let us
us
know. Yeah,
comment
let us
section.
know. I was going to try to look it up, but we were busy at work. So
Actually, that was the one I was going to probably go for.
I heard that's a good song. I like that one. And it's not that this song's bad.
Right.
It's probably my least of all of
Welcome
them.
home, soldier boy.
Yeah. It's
But yeah,
And all right, my turn. I'm going Rock of Ages is my second one. I just remember jamming that one a lot on this when I was listening to it, little string. And I don't know, it's got that anthem kind of feel to it. Just, just makes you want to get up and sing out loud and drive down the road singing and having everybody laugh at you or whatever. But it's one of those, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to sing this song. I love it so much.
just roll the windows
Yeah.
down.
Well, I'm going with Rock Till You Drop.
There you go.
What a way to open up an album.
I agree with
You
that.
know, it's a kind of a party song. If you go to this song, movie Rockstar, they used that while they were just had that race in the Batmobile. When they put this stuff up on the ceiling and all the spray paint. It's a party song, and it's, what a hell of a way to open up one hell of an album with that song. So that's my second pick.
All right, so everybody, my second pick is Full One. The one that got a lot of picks for Full One.
Yeah.
But it was hard. I mean, after I listened to this, I told String, I went to work, I said, damn it, if Rock of Ages ain't a great freaking song.
Yep.
But I'd already decided I was going with Full One, so I guess that'll be my second. I don't know if anything needs to be said how great of an album this is. Man, there was when you listen to this album. All right, so Spike, did you listen to this album before Hysteria?
yes,
Hysteria wasn't out yet.
no.
How about any of y'all?
This is the first one I'd heard.
Or just way before Hysteria.
Would you ever thought?
They went to Hysteria
Yeah.
from Pyromania. No.
Well,
I mean, yeah and no, but I mean,
at that point, no.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
At that point, no.
right.
To go through, you figure Phil Collins come on the scene, so we're bringing a new guitarist into the fold for a new album. We got a drummer that was involved in a car wreck. That's what I think's so cool about Def Leppard, is they've survived all this stuff. They're still riding it out. They're giving Rick Allen a shot, and he comes in. You're thinking, God, he'll never be able to play drums again. He's missing an arm. How the hell is he gonna do it? And he does it. And it's like, and you think Hysteria comes out, and we're all like, I think it's a great album. I think Hysteria's a great album. But
Not as good as
Def
this
Leppard's not happy. They've sold, 1 million albums, or how many ever it is, and they're not happy. And then from what I understand, is some strippers down in Florida decided they wanted to start stripping to pour some sugar on me, and the album just freaking took off.
From what I understand, that song was originally written for strippers. I saw an interview with Joe Elliott one time, and they said when they originally wrote that song, that they were hoping, they had the intentions and hopes that strippers would be playing that song to their show.
And I heard it was one of the last songs they wrote for that album too.
Yeah, it was almost like a not even put on the album.
Yeah, and it was wrote really fast. Kind of like, I'd always heard that about Cherry Pie too, but we're not going to talk about that. But anyway, I'd heard it was kind of pushed in there at the end. And, I never thought they'd top Pyromania. Pyromania was so freaking awesome, and they done it. But, I look back now, and it's just as good.
Yeah.
I mean, it has stood the test of time.
Yeah.
Pyromania, and it will. I mean, after we're, going, that album will still be strong. Yeah. Our generations. Kind of like what Led Zeppelin's doing.
We might be getting it played on the oldie station by the time you were dead and gone, but you know what? At least it's still going to be getting played.
Well, it's already classic rock.
Yeah.
But it's still strong.
Yeah.
When we were talking about doing this, and I always like to go in and freshen up and re-listen to it, and so I had it on, and my wife's like, "Are you playing the whole album?" I'm like, "Yeah." She was like, "All right, good." She was like, "Man, I forgot all these songs were on there," and I was like, "Yeah." I said, "There's nothing bad on this album." She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "They're all good."
I mean, this album, me personally, if it don't get a spin once a month, I would say probably on average. What about you, Randy? How often do you spin this?
It's been a while, but I do it like every couple of months. But it's definitely on rotation.
It was a while for me.
It's been a while.
It was a long while for me.
But I'm like, I'm like String though. When it's on, I'm yelling it. I'm loving it. It's like, I'm already airing the riffs and everything for the next song because I know what's coming because I've heard it a million times.
Yep.
So anybody got anything else they want to wrap up about Def Leppard, Pyromania?
Thank God they put out the first 4 albums.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to bring up too, what we read, the stuff that was off of Wikipedia, so we hope it's mostly true anyway. But, just listening to this album, and like I mentioned, this is the first album of theirs that I'd ever heard. And then it wasn't until many years later that, hanging out with you guys, that I ever heard the first 2 albums. And when you listen to the progression and how raw the first 2 are, and then you get to this, it still has maybe a little bit of rawness to it, but not much. It's definitely getting that pretty well-produced sound.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you go from this album to
Hysteria.
Hysteria, and it's like even more. It's way more polished, and the backup vocals, the harmonies, just so perfect. And it's like, and then it just kept going. And then it got to where like after Hysteria, it was just like radio, just ballads, and it was just I was like you. It's just not much.
Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
But when you think back, would you ever thought it would have went where it went?
No.
I mean,
I never thought that they would go as big as they did.
Yeah.
And I'm
They're
glad
huge.
they did. They deserved it. I mean, here's a guy that had a horrible accident. And whether you're young or old, to lose a limb and to come back and do what he did, that guy right there, I think if you want to give him a name, I think you give Rick Allen a name called the Prince of Perseverance, because right there, that's all about. He came back, and even the stuff that I do in my own life, I kind of use his inspiration. Here he is with one arm. If he can move on, I can move on. And I always thought he's just that's great. Exactly. Look what he did, and he came back, and it happened when he was 21, maybe, and he's still going. And
Boy, pups,
he's probably 50 now, and he's still doing it. So thumbs
That's
up
what
to
I
the
was
man.
going to say. I like the fact that, of course, I mean, and it's been televised, or you always see the Rick Allen losing the arm, Steve Clark dying, and they brought Vivian Campbell in, which was a good ad, but it still was never Steve Clark.
Yeah.
And I mean, but to see them doing this for 40 odd years, 50 years, it's amazing. And I think that you couldn't, when Tesla come out with Song and Emotion for Steve, I thought, what more of a rewarding way, or what's the words I'm looking for? How better can you, or you can't pick a better way to say something about somebody than write a song about them.
Yeah.
And for that song to be as good as it was, I mean, every time I hear that song, it just gives me cold chills.
Yeah, I will say Tesla did and that's one y'all need to check out. Song and Emotion by Tesla, if you've never heard. I mean, that's a rocking song about steaming Steve Clark. I think they even say it in there.
Yep.
I guess we gonna wrap this up.
Well, I have one more thing. When my wife and I was on our honeymoon, we got to go to Sheffield, and that's where Def Leppard was from, and it was pretty cool. I got to got to go to Steve Clark's gravesite, see his grave, but it was awesome because there was a couple different places within the city or whatever you want to call it, that they actually had like plaques, commemorating them and what they did for their their town, city, whatever it was. And the one arena, it's like a soccer stadium, whatever you want to call it, football. They were the first band to ever sell out that stadium. Mm-hmm. And there was a plaque there stating it, and they had a picture of them and showing like an aerial shot of the crowd, and it was really cool. So
I'll give a shout out to Amanda too for actually taking a vacation, going to Sheffield just so she could see Def Leppard play in Sheffield.
Wow, that's
you have
cool.
to ask her about that sometime too. But yeah,
cool.
she's
that's
was that the same stadium that?
I can't tell. I don't know. But it's a shame she couldn't have been here to been for this show too because. Yeah, she's
you ain't but a plane ticket away.
That's
Amanda.
right, girl.
Yeah, there you go.
Get your ass up
Where's
here.
she at now?
She's in Florida now.
Okay, because I see her posting pictures. She was out in California there a while back.
Living that single life, she's on that survival tour thing. So,
hey,
fuck cancer, by the way. Go, girl.
Yeah, fuck it. But yeah, I'm done with that. So
yeah,
we can. I don't want to ramble on too long.
We can't really.
We already hit the 30-minute mark.
Not much more we can say. It's Pyromania, great album.
Absolutely.
If you've never heard it,
then you better go listen to it.
And even if you've heard it, go back and listen to it. You probably forgot how great that album is. Because I know I did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all good to go?
I'm good to go.
Yes,
They're probably tired of hearing us talk anyway.
Pop Show, Pyromania. We're going to roll on out of here. Peace, y'all.
Peace out.
1,
2, 3, and 4, 5.
Somebody go cut the damn thing off.
Shit are you doing?
Hit that
Hit
square.
that red square. Because this thing,
Wow.
it is not going to work at all.
The light's probably fucking.